I will call the general committee meeting to order. Welcome everyone to our virtual general committee meeting. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, physical distancing measures, general committee is continuing to practice distancing, and all members of council, executive management, and the city clerk are participating via video conference. The senior leadership team who have reports tonight will be at the 7 o'clock meeting, and we do have some guests with us tonight as well. For our one item that's on this evening's agenda for the 5 o'clock, that is a confidential presentation concerning a personal information and solicitor client privilege matter, workplace investigation. Can I have a motion to move into closed session to discuss the presentation concerning a confidential advice subject to solicitor client privilege, Aird Bearless LLP response to motion 20G174, review of staff's handling of complaint identified in staff report HRS 00220. Can I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Ward, seconded by Councillor Kungl. All those in favor of moving into closed session? I am as well. I'd like to acknowledge for the minutes that General Committee has discussed a presentation and correspondence concerning a confidential subject to solicitor client privilege, a confidential advice subject to solicitor client privilege, Aird Bearless LLP response to motion 20G174, review of staff's handling of complaint identified in staff report HRS 002-20. There were no votes taken during the closed portion of the meeting, with the exception of the procedural motion to move into open session. Councillor Thompson, I believe you have a motion.
Thank you, Mayor Lehman. I put on the floor that the confidential correspondence from Aird Bearless LLP dated March 2nd, 2021, concerning a review of human resource, human rights policies and procedures be received. 2, that further to the direction provided in motion 20-G174, staff be directed to address the recommendations contained in the confidential correspondence from Aird Bearless LLP dated March 2nd, 2021, and the updates to the violence in the workplace policy and workplace human rights policy and procedure. 3, that the CAO report back to General Committee concerning all the actions that have been undertaken by the corporation result from the workplace investigation and the recommendations provided for in the confidential correspondence from Aird Bearless dated March 2nd, 2021.
Okay, we have a motion from Councillor Thompson on the floor. Are there comments, questions, or amendments to the public motion? Councillor Morales.
The amendment I'm moving forward is as follows. That Aird Bearless LLP be directed to investigate staff's preparation and presentation of memo 20-G-174 and how it differed from previous memos of similar nature based on direction given today, essentially. And I can speak to that if required, Mayor.
Okay, we have an amendment. Councillor Morales, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Lehman. I think anybody who's been paying attention to this very significant and important issue has more questions than answers. I think this amendment is more than appropriate. We have taken very important steps since October to address this issue the best way we can. We've retained external legal advice. We have if this amendment by the motion by Councillor Thompson passes, we will be taking significant steps in terms of procedures, policies to ensure essentially that this never becomes an issue again. But we need to go one step further into a couple of the checks and balances that would have broken down in the process. And that includes the presentation and preparation of staff memos and the matter in which they, this one specifically is just frankly inconsistent with similar situations or situations that could even be close to similar in the past. And I wish I could go more into detail. Obviously, there's confidentiality involved, but it is very prudent since we have a competent law firm. They've already have done the initial investigation. So it's not unreasonable to take that extra step to just close off close off those loose ends, get full transparency, full accountability, full justice, in order to make sure that any future scenario has the preparation and presentation of staff memos is done consistently, appropriately, responsibly, and timely. So that is what this memo aims to achieve.
The amendment. On the amendment, does anyone wish to speak to the amendment? Okay. I will call the question then. Those in favor of the amendment, please indicate. Opposed? Okay, that particular amendment fails. The paragraph 3 does cover, I believe, much of what was specifically referenced in the amendment. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the question on the motion. Those in favor of the motion? Are any, I'm in favor as well. Are any opposed? None. The motion carries, paragraphs 1, 2, and 3. That completes General Committee's agenda for this evening. Thank you, members of General Committee. General Committee is adjourned. As a reminder, City Council meets next March 22nd. We will see you then. Good night.
Good night.